Welcome back to the Movement is the Medicine podcast. Dr. Gene Chirac right here with Dr. Megan Weezer. Dr. Corey, I'm going to see the Lions this weekend. How?
Yeah. Lions are in town playing the Baltimore Ravens. And, get to go see them in person, so that's cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. I've never been to an NFL game.
It's pretty fun.
It is.
I want to go.
I think it depends on where you sit.
Yeah.
If you sit too far away,
And
it's
how
just like
cold it
The
is.
weather.
and how cold
'Cause
for
I
sure.
would very much rather just sit on my couch with some wings and watch all the games
Yeah.
instead of sit
Yeah.
and freeze.
Yeah, if you have bad seats, or, if it's a long ways away, it's hard to see what's going on. I mean, it's fun, but probably not worth the money. Because NFL games, because there's only 17 in a year, each ticket is pretty expensive, as opposed to like a
Baseball.
162 games a year.
Mhm.
You can get those tickets for pretty cheap. So football tickets are hard to come by, I think, especially good ones. But shout out to Corey Freeman. He was able to secure some for us.
That's nice.
Yeah. And the Lions are playing
Good football.
really well.
Yep. Should be a good game.
On Lions, but they don't
Old
have
Lions.
a running back.
Old Lions. So every year, yes, they don't have a running back this week. Every year, SOL is a common phrase.
Shit out of luck.
Yes, but also it means same old Lions. We start off high expectations and then they lose and it's just the same old Lions. But they are trying to change that that mindset and that not community. What's the word I'm thinking of? I don't know. They're just culture. They're trying to change the culture in Detroit, and I think the head coach is doing a good job with that.
I think there's a big difference between hoping not to lose and then having a mentality of winning. And that's kind of scarcity versus growth mindset that a lot of times people go even in small things in their life, like waiting for the next bad thing to happen. That's more of a don't lose mentality versus expecting good things to happen. Even when bad things happen, you still expect something to come from that, which is, you really have to have a very different mindset to live that life.
Who do you like, Megan? Football.
The Giants.
Giants? They're
They
doing
suck.
rough this year.
They're
yeah.
doing horrible.
Yeah.
I've only watched like one game because they always do horrible.
You do or don't
But-
like Philly also?
I also like Philly. They have a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing well.
Yeah,
They're-
but they lost their first game this last weekend.
Yeah.
The
Their
Jets
record
got 'em.
is well, but they haven't been performing to what you would expect that team to do.
Yeah. I don't know if they should have lost that game. That was, speaking of NFL,
I literally, I went outside to let Nelly out, and then I came back in, and I was like, what the fuck? The Jets won?
yeah, they should
I,
not have won that
completely
game.
missed what happened.
They should definitely not have won that game. That was like at least the few games that I watched, and I was in and out, but it was so horribly officiated. It was so bad.
Careful, you might get fined. Talking bad about the refs.
It was so bad. Let's talk about, see if we can keep this episode a little bit shorter. I wanted to talk about fatigue. So we hear this all the time from our members, and from ourselves here and there. I am so tired.
Me too.
And then, case in point, there's overall fatigue, right? Our body just feels tired. Then there's mental fatigue, where I just can't think straight. My brain is in a
Which
fog.
manifests itself physically.
True. And then there's just cellular soul fatigue, where you're just your essence is tired, right? Like you
I don't
can't
know
put
what that means.
can't put a finger on it, but you're like, I'm so tired. I don't feel like doing anything. Like I don't want to think. I don't want to.
I don't
get
think
out of
that's
bed.
actually tired. I think that's depression.
Well, that's where I'm.
Okay.
That's where we're headed.
Classic
a little
Gene, a lot of words to get nowhere.
bit. Or Megan, obviously going somewhere if you picked up on it. So, a lot of times if you say something, if we're going to jump ahead, Megan, if you tell somebody, hey, here are the signs of
I
depression.
figured we'd get to the point quicker than in 7.5 minutes.
Well, just like usual, Miss Jersey, you go full blunt explosion versus strategically getting up there. If Megan was a surgeon A, scalpel, Surgeon Megan, Give me the jackhammer. Not how it works.
Okay,
Megan,
I'll shut up.
you heard it.
I'll try to shut up.
She said it. You heard it. See how long that lasts. 15 seconds would be my under.
Go!
And
Yep.
there it is. There it is. Didn't even have time to look at the watch. Fatigue manifests itself in a lot of ways. Perceived fatigue from actual fatigue. So I think that's one thing I want to touch on today. Are you actually tired, or something more going on? Is your body actually tired because you've made it tired, which is an energy system piece, right? We deal with fatigue all the time. Fatigue is part of training. You have both ends. You train, therefore your body will be a level of fatigue, from tissue fatigue to allostatic load or emotional psychological load and being fatigued. And then there's something called central nervous system fatigue, CNS fatigue, that most people don't know about, where your actual nervous system is drained. But there's that other spectrum that comes across as fatigue that's more mental health related, where when you are in a state of depression, and there's a lot of people in what's called high functioning depression, where they're out and about, but there's no joy to life, right? They're kind of like, they pretend to be happy or whatever emotion they feel like needs to be shown, right? So it's emotion by expectation. Somebody said a joke, I should laugh. Somebody sad, I should be sad. Things like that. But those people are also, they will give you hints, right? They're so tired and there's constant fatigue, and that's the easiest thing people say as fatigue. So let's chat about it. What do you guys do? Let's start with some personal and actionables. Like when you feel super wiped out, what do you do to recharge those batteries?
Am I allowed to speak now?
Are you? Only if it's useful and constructive.
Okay. What was your question?
How do you recharge your Wii's batteries? When you
Hate
feel
that
drained?
there's a little that you use the name of our establishment in that question. But anyway, how do I recharge my when I'm feeling like the depression type fatigue, or just in general?
Let's start with normal fatigue, like you're just tired.
Coffee.
Okay.
Stimulants, good. Go for the drugs. All right.
Sleep, carbs, and calories.
Carbs. I get tired.
That's
blood sugar.
because
diabetes.
of your blood sugar. Yes.
Another discussion.
It's going to turn into an intervention for Corey. Tell us about your fatigue, Corey. Not your turn yet.
Well,
Right.
yeah, just
Sleep.
I prioritize sleeping, and then I make sure I'm eating enough, and then I just like I still try to work out or do something, but I'm gonna plug Danielle Latour here. Listen to my body.
She's been waiting for a plug for somebody to
She wants to be on
she
the
wants to
She's
be on the
got
podcast.
it. She's got it
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Absolutely
Like even William this morning, he was like, I needed a break before weightlifting, so I'm just doing this.
Yeah, shout out William.
Like-
That's a huge thing for him to say.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
But
He
yeah.
also might want to be the strongest in the weightlifting game.
Well, that's true too. He did say he want to get his body ready for weightlifting.
Well, so again, going back to my answer to this question, I think I kind of like ask myself what I need. Like even if I'm tired, I might have, like that could mean I'm thinking like socially now. Like sometimes I just need a weekend of nothing or a day of nothing, and like put the phone away, like turn off the apps and everything. But other times I just need like there's types of friends that you have different social battery levels for, I feel like.
Yeah.
And make plans in some way, shape, or form like that.
Okay. That's good. What about you? Carbs make you tired. What else?
Oh, I retreat
To
an isolated
cave.
place.
inside
Oh, okay.
inside your head, or like a literal place?
Bedroom or living room. I mean, somewhere away from people. I think is like sometimes I just need
Less
to.
stimulation.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I think it's almost like a mini nap that I'm not sleeping. It's like a
Yeah.
literal, like a restful period.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be long. Sometimes it's just, 30 minutes or whatever, and then I feel literally recharged. It's weird.
Do the stimulus matter? Like, are you watching YouTube videos or just like watching stupid reels, or do you have to be like completely unplugged?
No, not unplugged. I don't have to be unplugged.
Just your brain detached, kind of,
Yeah.
and just letting your body
It's
chill?
just, yeah, it's like turning off the external and just being there.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, turning off the external, if that makes sense to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first thought when you said that. There's other ways of recharging, I guess. Like, I know I always feel better when I go to a class too, so that helps. But that was just my initial thought was isolation.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's.
I mean, our job is very people-y.
We're always on. We're always on
Mhm.
for sure. You know, Superman, Fortress of Solitude. That's
Mhm.
kind of where that comes from.
Lost me.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Superman or Fortress of Solitude?
All the above.
I almost bought Aaron a Superman comic book the other day.
Aw.
He would have liked that.
Yeah.
I would have stole it, but eventually he would have liked that.
Mhm.
But that's kind of like the Fortress of Solitude. You know, a lot of superheroes that they come from. They're an allegory for life. You know, they're a metaphor.
Al Gore.
Who created the internet?
What?
You didn't know that? That's true.
That's an inconvenient truth.
It is an inconvenient truth. She's not.
She's not gonna get that either.
No, I don't get it.
So Superman was a metaphor for immigrants, right? That an alien came and set up, and he had to pretend to be somebody else without allowing himself to be himself. But he needed his own place. Like, he needed a place where he can get away from humanity that he was here to help. And so, like, it was pretty deep if you think about it, saying that even this most powerful being that is perfect in every way needs time to be by himself. Literally.
Yes, I do.
Huh?
I said, yes, I do.
That's funny.
that is funny.
But Jean is Megan's kryptonite.
So anyways, yeah, Lex Luthor. So I think that it says a lot that we do need those moments. I think you'll experience an entire level of that when the baby comes.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I'm
one of
having
the
a baby.
hardest things.
Did you forget?
No.
No, but sort of.
Sidetrack. We had a 3D ultrasound this weekend. I
Yeah,
showed you.
yeah.
I didn't show you a picture, did
Mm-mm.
I? I'll show you afterwards. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, she looked awesome. So fatigue is important. I think we also live in a culture right now where the mindset is the opposite. Like, you're tired, deal with it. Too bad,
Yeah,
grind it out.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you grind yourself down, and that's why so many people are having breakdowns, and like, it's almost
Burned
functional
out.
breakdowns, right? Like, we talked about functional depression, but functional breakdowns as well. It's like people are having a breakdown
They just spin their wheels and keep going.
and
huh?
they're just like extending it out though, instead of having like this huge crash. They're like,
I think people don't even. I think the majority of people don't even have the self-awareness level to realize that, like, they need to change something,
Yeah.
or like that you need a rest. Like, people just go and it's like, oh, it's another week of adulthood. I'm exhausted.
right.
Yeah, people
it's
brag
like-
about how tired they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Or how hard they
That's-
work.
Yeah, I'm so freaking tired. Or I can't. I mean, it's part of culture. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Mondays
America.
suck. it's in our Puritan DNA for sure. But it's worse and worse and worse because we don't have our fortress of solitude. We don't have our escape. Right? You're forced into this loop of never ending. Like, work a week is over, then the weekend comes, and you're like, kids activities, or I gotta just keep going on, otherwise I am not efficient enough, or I'm not if I rest, or if I just hang out, or if I do things for myself, I'm not being productive enough, right? I'm wasting hours. I'm all these things, when the reality is, like, your body doesn't give a shit whether you're going to work. Your body doesn't care whether you're
Yeah.
doing things. Your cells need what they need, and we don't give that to our bodies, not because of biological realities, but because of societal pressure. And I
Mhm.
think that's when people ultimately hit the wall and go, I literally can't, or are overtaken by mental health
I think
issues.
the other layer of that is like, as like beings, we're not built to consume all that we do, like from a social media perspective and all
Mhm.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Like we're not designed to take in all this information and consume all day long, and that's literally what social media is designed for. So there's that on top of like your own work responsibilities, your own family responsibility, friend responsibilities, personal responsibilities, everything. So it's just like it doesn't end.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, social media is an entire beast. I think we'll need to
You
get
can
a.
curate it to, I think, change things, but like, I don't know, we see everything happening, and we see misinformed variations of what's happening and other information.
And if it's curated for education, which I think a lot of our news feeds are
for sure.
educational, at least as us clinicians,
Mhm.
that's overwhelming too.
Yeah.
You see all of
You're
the
thinking
stuff.
all the time.
Yeah, you're thinking all the time. Learning is a good thing, but you constantly like triggering that mindset is fatiguing. And like, you remember how tired you were in physical therapy school after a long day of consuming. Gene didn't pay attention.
I was never tired.
No.
I was never tired. It all came easy.
So now we're tapping into that all day. I don't know, from a consuming standpoint and from like a personal, like, oh, I never thought about that. Why haven't I thought about that? I don't know. It's good. It's easy to spiral down even in an educational way.
Here's the
I feel like you're
ironic
telling
twist.
us something here.
Spiraling.
Spiraling.
Here's the ironic twist. Creating for social media is good for your brain. Consuming it is bad for you. Right? Like and that's the thing, but most people are let me rephrase that. Creating depending on the purpose. So if you're
Yeah, I was gonna
creating
say.
if you're creating for social proof, for the likes, that is not, because you're
Mhm.
creating
Right, yeah.
you're creating a very negative loop for yourself where your self-worth is at the behest of people, strangers, hitting a like button.
Hitting a like
Right.
button, yeah, people,
But-
which means nothing.
Correct. But if you're truly a creative like if you're creating for the sake of creating, then the joy is in the creative process, which creates secondary benefits to your overall health.
Mhm.
Like if you're creating something, putting it out there and going, I don't really give a shit who watches or how many people watch. I just really enjoyed creating it
Yeah.
and putting it out
Or to
there.
provide information to serve some kind of purpose.
Sure.
Aside from people liking me.
Right. The social proof that is irrelevant. But there are a lot of people that that consume as escapism, right? They get into the doom scroll.
Yeah.
And truly the challenge, kind of what you said, we're still kind of in that evolutionary period. If we're talking about evolutionary biology, Homo sapiens, we're in that 60,000 to 100,000 years old, which from an Earth standpoint, that is not. Hi. that is not a long time. So for our brains, we're still in we need to go gather food for 8 to 10 hours a day and do nothing, right? The hardest thing at that point, if your attention goes away, you get mauled by a saber-toothed tiger. And then all of a sudden our brains are like, oh, here's timelines for you to scroll nonstop. Forget the saber-toothed tigers. And then we're literally changing the chemistry of our brains that our brains are not adapt to deal with. So that's when it further compounds all the other issues. But mental health is a big thing. Obviously, we wanted to touch on that. But let's come back to fatigue and kind of finish this out with physical fatigue can be shown as well. All these factors we talked about, people getting tired or feeling tired. But we have an opportunity to pick out, here's how your body should be tired based on the effort you're putting in. And here's how you're presenting and you're saying you're tired, but you're not really showing it physically. And what I mean by that is if somebody comes in and says, I'm tired, and has a heart rate monitor on and is able to work and achieve that work and then feel better, that is more conducive to what we were just talking about. It's more mental
it's
fatigue.
Not actual fatigue.
And then they work out and they feel better. And then they're not as tired, but then they go back to that same loop. So we're essentially giving them as a little battery boost, like a little body mental recharge, right? We're giving them that here's the dopamine, here's serotonin, here's all the hormones, here's a little bit blood, all the things that exercise is good for, a little bit more oxygen into your body. You feel alive, and they kind of reset a little bit. Like, this is how you should feel. This is more optimized you. And they have this little reprieve, which is why people are like, oh, this is my happy place. I love coming here. I can kind of get away from all the shit in life, but then they go right back into it. But what about actual fatigue in terms of recovery, right? Let's switch gears to physical fatigue. Training is one thing, but recovery is a big part of training. How do you deal with, and how do you know when your body is too tired? Like, what is the right formula for saying, maybe I should work less, or maybe I should even, God forbid, take a rest day and not do anything? How do you gauge when your body needs a rest?
I've been asked this by multiple friends, and I think it's a projection of them admitting to me that they do need to take a rest but don't want to mentally. But anyway, my answer to that, in determining like whether you should take a rest day or if it's an actual motivation thing, is one, to take a look at those 3 factors that the 2 factors that I was talking about. So like, did I sleep enough / am I well rested? What's my eating been like? And I usually, like, if it's a planned training day, I'll at least give myself 10 to 15 minutes to start. So if like those 2 things were in place, like I slept well, I've been eating pretty good. When I say pretty good, I mean like quality and quantity, like enough. Have I eaten enough, and have I been eating decently well? Okay. I don't have any other reason other than me just not feeling like working out right now. So I'm going to give myself the first 10 to 15 minutes. I'll start it. If after that, first couple of sets or the 10 to 15 minute time frame, I still feel like absolute trash, okay, impromptu rest day then. Because it's not a motivation thing. I just do actually need a rest day for mental or emotional reasons, because the other physical pieces are there. If after the 10 to 15 minutes I'm like, all right, I got this, it's fine, it was a motivation thing, then you finish it, the workout.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, something like that. Very seldom have I started a workout and not finished it.
Yeah, there's a handful of times I have actually given myself the first few sets,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't belong in the gym today. We're not doing this.
But there has been. I remember a couple times on the rower, I think I was underfueled. Food-wise. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We're
Mr.
working on
Almonds.
it, okay? But
we help you by shaming.
yeah. Yeah.
We shame with
Peer
love.
pressure.
Where same thing, I didn't feel like doing the workout or whatever, but I was like, I'm going to give it a try. And then just literally running out of gas on the rower where I normally wouldn't. Like, odd things that are out of the ordinary for you would be an indicator of maybe today's not the day.
Yep.
Where I was just rowing, and then I just felt like I had nothing else to
in you.
And it wasn't like a sprint day or anything like that. It was just I was going, and I'm like, I think I have to be done. I just don't think I can. I wasn't out of breath. It was just I'm just totally tired. So that's a good strategy, is to give yourself time to start it and reassess, because a lot of times you do feel better as you move, as the oxygen gets flowing and things like that.
Yeah, that's good. That self-awareness piece, I think most people don't have, because that comes with training age and
you won't know that just starting out, because every day might feel hard.
Yeah, and if you're already tired,
and this is
mentally,
coming from the lens of like, I know training is good for me. I've made a consistent practice, and also I really enjoy it, kind of thing.
And you fine-tune your body, right? Your body is an instrument that you're more clinically in tune with.
Right, that
than a lot of
method
other
may
people.
not work for others, but
Right.
yeah.
And I think that's when supervision, that's when coaching is incredibly valuable. And we talked about this on the previous podcast, like, what is the value of a coach? And oftentimes it's just being a sounding board of somebody going, here's all the things I'm feeling. And I say this all the time to our pathway people, is like, when you come in here, you are the expert. You are the world's expert on your body. Nobody knows your body more than you. But when you
say this to people?
Yeah. But I also follow that up with, there is a but. You are also more biased than anybody else. Right? When you have more knowledge than anybody else on a certain topic, you're also more biased than anybody else. So I tell them, like, we're the external consultants you're bringing in. You're saying, here's me. Here's the information of me. I need you to come in and analyze this alongside of me. And then I'm like, then we'll present our findings. Here's what we think you need to be doing. Here's what we found. Here are your deficiencies, and here's how you make them stronger. And you go, okay, here's what I will do. Here's what I won't. Some people, shout out Danielle Latour, goes, I'm going to listen to my body, not care what you're saying, even though you're highly trained professionals and spend most of your fucking day coming up with this programming for us. I'll do what I want to do. And we're like, okay, good, but try this, right? Here's a little something. Just nudge her along. And then there's other people who are like, give me the plan. I will follow your plan, right? Yes, that sounds great. You got it. I'm going to do it, which is what most people will do. And then we can also say then, this is not your typical presentation, right? You are not this level of fatigue or how you're moving or how you're feeling. There's something else going on. So here's how we're going to change this so that you can have better recovery or optimization of that. And a lot of people don't get that, which is tough. I mean, there's only so many people we can help, but there's a lot of good coaches that are doing that too from a holistic standpoint. Let's finish out with some strategies. Like you guys shared yours of what you can do. Like for me, when I feel tired, or like when I'm going to work out and I'm like, I'm not feeling it, or even, let's break all the stuff. The look on your face.
I'm just surprised I caught it.
My go-to when I'm fatigued is a walk. Like regardless of the temperature, I will go for a walk and see what happens to my body. Sometimes I'll wake up a little bit or feel a little bit more refreshed to work out. Sometimes I'm like, nope, that's good. But either way, I feel like I've accomplished something, right? That scratches that itch in the back of your head for people that go, well, you did something and it was productive and you benefited from it, and then move on to the next day, right? There's always an opportunity to get better. I feel like there's always an opportunity to train, and there's far fewer opportunities to recover. I feel like fatigue will compound a lot more than lack of training. It's like you could always catch up on your training.
Hold on. What?
If you don't rest appropriately, whether it's sleep or listening to your body and tissue recovery, if you double down on avoiding rest, I feel like that will compound a lot faster, and you'll have a harder time dealing with that than if you miss a day of working out and catching up from what the perceived lack of training. So if you work out, I feel like your tissues will respond a lot faster than if you miss resting.
I'm still confused.
Yes, same.
Still not
Less
following
words.
that? Not resting as much is a lot harder to deal with than missing some days of training.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. And I feel like if I miss a day of training, I feel like, well, I can get right back to it the next day or 2 days and pick up my programming where it is and be perfectly fine.
Not everybody has that mindset, though.
Right. But I feel like just even from a standpoint of actionables, like if you keep avoiding rest, that's a lot harder to eventually fix for your body. I feel like things can go wrong a lot more by avoiding rest than they can if you miss some training.
Yeah, well, I think that kind of goes back to like the productivity culture. Like, I feel like it's just pushed that you always need to be doing something productive, but rest is productive.
Right.
And it's just, it's even hard for me. Like, I'll have a day where I've done nothing and I'm like, I should have like researched or read or I don't know, done something. And then I'm like, no, hold up. You needed this.
Yeah, absolutely. Just chill. Just calm your shit down.
I can't calm down.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. You are like the majority. All right. That's it. One, I think putting it out there. I think part of establishing the culture is saying it into existence, right? Like even talking about this stuff is important. I think letting people know that if you're feeling tired and you're feeling more and more tired without a strategy to recover, then you're setting yourself up for less and less efficiency.
People have asked me, like a lot of the newer folks are like, how many times a week should I be coming? And my answer is always, it depends.
Right.
And it largely more depends on how you feel outside of here than in here. Like, I'm like, if you're not sleeping great or if you feel super drained outside of the gym, like, those are signs you're either not recovering enough or training too much. And I explained that, like, overtraining is like a relative term, right? Like, overtraining can mean like, okay, you're probably not eating enough. If you eat more, you'll feel better.
Yep.
But, or like, it's just, there's a balance of a scale. Like, I don't think overtraining means one thing. Is it overtraining as much as it is under recovering? So,
which is flip side of training. People ask questions like that all the time, right? When they get started, how often should I come? How often this? And to me, those are just part of training age. People that train regularly never ask that
like,
question.
what can you sustain? Like, what is easy for you to do consistently? If
And they're
that's 3 days
asking
a week and occasionally 5, cool.
Right.
But don't set the goal as 5 days a week if you know you can only do that
Which is arbitrary.
every 3 months. Yeah.
People that ask that question are usually people that have not had training experience.
Yeah.
Or like they've gone to the gym and they're like, well, I used to go to the gym 3 times a week. Should I keep doing that? I'm like, you're not going to the gym. You're in a gym, but you're not going to the gym. You're training, right? You're following programming. And that's one of the hardest, I think, pieces for people. Even new people that call, they're like, so what classes do you guys offer? I'm like, we don't offer classes. We have class times. You will be going to a group class, but you're not doing a class. You're following programming. You're training within a group setting. And most people are like, say that again, but with words I understand. So it's almost like you.
Yeah, it's like a podcast.
Say that again with words I understand. You will be doing a workout. That's part of a bigger picture that you're progressing through. They're like, so not Zumba. No.
I've been trying. The people have been asking Megan to host a Zumba class, and I tell them I ask on their behalf, and she says no every single time.
We ain't doing it. I ain't doing it.
Right up your alley, though.
Why? Because I have dance training? Why does that automatically
because
make
you're
me a
literally
Zumba
dancing
instructor?
all the time.
Yeah, but that's no.
Comment below if Megan should do a dance class. You know, like TV shows, they always have like that musical episode. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like TV shows, they have the musical.
Yes, I always hate them.
Yeah, no, because that's usually when the show's dead. They can't figure out how to fill space. But we could do that. We could do a musical. Fun week. It'd be a fun week. Dance with Megan class.
Everyone wears a weight vest.
I'm putting
For
in
Zumba.
my 3 months notice.
For
Quitting.
that's the longest time you've ever given us that you've quit. And okay, what's that? 3 months from now, Megan will quit once again.
It's usually effective immediately.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know. Do you feel tired? What do you do about it? Do you feel shame from that, which you shouldn't necessarily? Let us know what you think. I do want to get a mental health professional, a therapist on. We could talk about how depression plays into how the body operates and all that, get into more depth on that. So we'll get more information on there. But let us know how you recover. What do you do to recharge, aside from coming to recharge, if you're a member here? And what do you want me to do? Apologize for being a good name, Megan?
I hate the tagline thing. It's cheesy to me.
It works for a reason. And now we'll catch you again on the next episode of Movement is Medicine podcast from